Welcome to the Better Agent Podcast. If you're a real estate agent that's looking to grow your business, then you're in the right place. Whether you want to go from 5 to 10 transactions a year, or 10 to 50 transactions per year, or more, well, then this show is for you. I'm Josh Lavik, your host for the Better Agent Podcast, and in each episode, we'll bring you the tools, tips, and tricks directly from myself and some of the best leaders within the real estate industry. We have one goal in mind, and that's to boost your production and elevate your real estate game. Let's dive in and start creating a better real estate experience together. Welcome back to the Better Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Lavik, and today we're talking about growth in your real estate business. So if that's of interest to you, hopefully you're tuned into the right place. And so, you're going to learn a little bit more from myself and my 20 years in the real estate business and experience, and also my guests. And today I've got an awesome guest with us, and I'm so excited to have Anne Baranski with us for our show today. I've known Anne for many years, actually, and I think we've done a handful of deals together, and just definitely crossed paths over the years, and it's just been a lot of fun. So I'm excited. She's got a great story to tell, and I know she's a great agent. So I know that our listeners should definitely get some value out of this. If you're looking to grow your real estate business, hopefully get your notebook out and take some notes and get some value out of our conversation today. So without further ado, I'll pass the mic over to Anne and let her give a little intro about herself and a little bit more about kind of your background and kind of what led you here today.
Okay, thank you. So it took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I actually figured out that real estate was my path when I was 40 years old. So I have been in the business for 12 plus years. And as I was kind of casting my net and trying to figure out exactly what it was that I wanted to do with my life, I kind of stumbled into real estate by mistake. I answered an ad for a part-time marketing person, and I've done a lot in the 501c3 field. I've helped with a lot of marketing. I've done a lot of golf outings, stuff like that. Okay. And it was with a real estate company, and they ended up not hiring me. And what they said was, you get bored in 5 minutes. Would you consider becoming a realtor? And that's kind of how this started.
Ah, that's interesting, right? You apply for a marketing position. You've got a lot of experience in marketing, right?
Yeah.
And somewhat accidentally got into the business. My story is kind of similar, right? I was maybe a little bit younger, but also similar path of like trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And maybe I want to try this, and stumbled into real estate. So I think it's kind of an interesting, similarity, right? I think it's one of those industries that, it just hooks a lot of people, and sometimes you stumble into it, and then suddenly 12 years later or 20 years later or however long later, it's like, oh, this is actually working out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, share a little more about that.
So I decided I would go into real estate because supposedly you can choose your own hours, which, I mean, that's not always true at all. But I decided I would try it out. And I was hoping to be able to do, maybe a deal or two a year, because I have a dog problem. At the time, I think I had 5 dogs. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I could just help pay the vet bills, and I thought 1 or 2 transactions a year, that'd be great. And we now have 14 dogs, and luckily my transactions have expanded commensurate, so we can still afford the vet bills, right?
Yeah, so I've had a lot of interviews with a lot of people, and nobody's brought their dog in the interviews yet. So I think that's worth saying something about, right? You're obviously very passionate about dogs. You have 14 dogs. I have 1 dog, right? A lot of people maybe have 1, maybe 2, something like that. 14 dogs? How do you manage that along with your career and that kind of thing? I mean, that sounds like a lot.
Well, it's more than you'd even think, because every one of my dogs is either a senior or special needs.
Okay.
So I have a dog that's paralyzed from the waist down. This little girl was a puppy mill breeder, so she's got some health issues, but she's also got, I'd hate to say psychological issues, but there you have it. So they are a lot, from changing diapers to making different kinds of food for different dogs to all the medications, all the vet visits. But luckily, my career allows me to feed my passion, which is, helping these senior and special needs dogs. And, you have a bowl that's only so big. and you have to fill it with the big things first.
Hey there, hope you're enjoying the show. I just wanted to interrupt real quick and just say that if you want more of this discussion and topic about growth in your real estate business, then I just want to invite you to join us on one of our future masterminds. We do them every week, all the time, either virtually or in person. And you can go to realestateteammastermind.com, learn a little more about that, and sign up to join us on the next call. Again, realestateteammastermind.com. Hope you're enjoying the show. Take care.
If you fill it with the water and then try to put the big rocks in, you're going to overflow. So you have to put your big items, your work, your passion in first, and then fit everything else around that.
And for you, it sounds like it's definitely the dogs are a big passion and you have a heart
Mhm.
for these animals and, whether it's older or rescue or whatever it might be.
Mhm.
But in some ways, I think what's noteworthy about that and what I'm hearing you say is like that fuels your passion and drive to help
Mm.
your clients and help succeed in the real estate business. Am I getting that right?
It does, because if I don't do well in real estate, then I don't have enough gas in the tank to take care of all these animals. And also, like calls to like. So I would say 95% or better of my clients are dog people.
Yeah.
They find me through rescue, they find me through social media. I had a really awesome lady reach out to me and say, "Oh, we're looking to sell our house, blah, blah, blah." And I get there, not really knowing. She said she found me on social media,
Hmm.
not really knowing much about this lady. And I walk in and she's got a bulldog that's paralyzed from, mid chest down, which to me, whatever,
Yeah.
no big deal. So I'm petting this dog as I'm talking to her and presenting to her and her husband. And at the end, I said, please let me know if you have other questions. I would be more than happy to help you list your home. Just, make sure it's the right fit. Let me know when you're done talking to agents, and let's see where we go with this. And she goes, "Oh no, you don't understand. We're using you because nobody else is going to sit there and pet my bulldog who's disabled while he's soiling himself in a diaper and think nothing of it. And we just want someone who's not judgmental." I was like, "Oh, well, there you have it."
Yeah.
So, by being true to myself and finding that niche, it's really been helpful. And so my business and my passion kind of feed each other.
Totally. I think that's a great message for sure. And I think it's a great message that anyone can take away, right?
Mhm.
A lot of successful agents I know, right? There's definitely a core part of their business, if not 95%, I would say at least a minimum of like 30% at a bare minimum, but some agents, anywhere in between that, you're going to do business with people that are maybe like you, people that resonate with
Mhm.
you, your own personal sphere of influence, people that you just
Mhm.
connect with on another level, right? It's more than just the real estate. It's more than just the house. It's about your connection to them as people, as that kind of thing.
Mhm.
I mean, I've done lots of transactions myself, with people I went to college with or were friends with we'd go hiking or climbing together or something like that, like we have
Mhm.
this other connection that's completely unrelated to real estate, but it's like it brings you kind of that like-minded person that just says, "Hey, I feel comfortable with you and I want to use you as my agent. Like let's make this happen." So
Mhm.
it's pretty cool to kind of hear that story, and I think it's definitely one that can take away, right? Because if you're an agent listening to this and you want to grow, if you're not tapping into your personal network and really tapping into who you authentically are as a person, like
Mhm.
you're missing something and you're missing a huge opportunity. So go deeper in that, whether it's your dogs or whether it's another passion you have or horses or whatever it might be. I mean, I think there's lots of different successful agents, right? Some are more like, I talked to somebody recently, they were like, got started because of Airbnbs and vacation rentals. And suddenly their clients, they started doing Airbnb clients and rentals and that
Mhm.
type of thing. So it's like, I think you need to just find your passion and develop that passion and then just go for it and lean into that. And if you do, it's like, boom, people resonate with that. So that's pretty cool.
Well, I think we don't give people enough credit for knowing when you're putting on airs or being someone you're not.
Yeah.
Um, I've met more than one agent who, they want to cater to the wealthy. And so then there's a female agent lately who was trying to impress me with all the important people she knew in town, and one of them was my brother, and I kind of roll my eyes. I'm like, he's not important. I hit him with a jump rope when I was 7, you know. But the point was, she was trying to impress me with all these people she knew that ran in her circle, and I'm like, I know them all too. Some of the names you named are my clients, but okay, you know, just
Sure.
be who you are.
Yeah.
Be the parent who has 2 kids that play volleyball, or
Hmm.
be the car enthusiast. If you're covered in tattoos, awesome, because I guarantee there's a segment of the population that is going to feel more comfortable with you as someone who maybe colors outside the lines than they would be with someone who wears an expensive watch and drives a luxury car. So as long as you are who you are, I think people like calls to like, and people are going to glom onto that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think authenticity too, like, right? Like people are going to
Mhm.
smell if it's BS, right? Like you're just
Yeah,
saying these names to impress somebody. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't matter that much. Like it's,
no.
great. You know them. I know them too. Guess what? I know a lot of my clients. Guess what? I'm not the only real estate agent they know.
The
Like,
average is a person knows approximately 7 realtors,
yeah, I
either
get that.
close friends or friend of a friend type thing.
Totally. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah. So,
they have
yeah.
choices.
Yeah,
You
for
need to
sure.
be their choice.
So let's lean into that a little bit more. What is there something special you do in your business or your practice that allows you to kind of incorporate the dogs and passion and that type of thing? Is there something specific that you do to lean into that?
Well, there's almost always one in my car. And my clients will be like, "Hey, who's here today?" Or, I am who I am. And if someone rocks up to the showing and they've got dog hair all over their shirt and it's yellow, I'll be like, "Hey, golden retriever or yellow lab?" And, you open the door.
Hmm.
Also, having this many dogs, there's always at least one pack of treats in my purse.
Mm.
And so if somebody else has their dog along, hey, can your dog have a treat? And right there, you've got a friend for life.
All right. So yeah, so having some treats and things like that available, I think that makes
Yep.
sense for sure.
Yeah. The other thing I do that people, and it's an unintentional, I don't want to say marketing tactic, because it's, for me, it's not marketing. I'm a firm believer in giving back.
Yeah.
So I sit on the board of several 501(c)(3)s.
Hmm.
I am the lifeguard captain for Ironman. I work with Sunshine Place out of Sun Prairie. I work with Tellurian. I look at my life and realize that while, yeah, I make good money and I'm able to support my dog habit, there are people out there who have less than me and who need that money more.
Yeah.
And so that's the other reason I work as hard as I do, is because it does enable me to give back.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love that too. I think giving back and being a part of your community and getting involved in different groups like that is super important. I know. Yeah, and I've done something similar for years. I mean, we give a portion of our commission back to a charity or nonprofit of our client's choice at closing, and it's just something I've been doing, like I said, kind of my own personal give back for years.
Hmm.
And so we just
Sure.
incorporated that as part of our business at some
Yeah.
point, and it just kind of made sense to do because I felt like yeah, it is about so much more than just the transaction, right? It's about being a bigger piece of that and about more than just closing the next deal.
Well, and people appreciate that you're not giving them a gift basket with some wine and some cheese in it.
Yeah.
They can get their own wine and cheese and they'll probably like what they choose better. But if they know that,
Yeah.
hey, part of your proceeds are going to support Albert's Dog Lounge,
Yeah.
Tellurian,
Yeah.
Sunshine Place, whatever the case may be, it's really a win for everybody because they get to feel good. I feel good because I know not only am I financially supporting these organizations, I'm boots on the ground physically working for them as well.
Sure.
And the organization is benefiting in multiple ways.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. All right. Well, let's maybe shift gears a little bit. Let's tell us let's go. I'm curious about maybe I mean, I know right now, sorry, let me rewind.
Mhm.
We all know during COVID, the whole market kind of went bonkers crazy. Prices drove, went up super high and interest rates dropped. And now I'm definitely sensing like a normalization happening in the market and the market shifts. And even after 12 years, you've probably seen a lot of things pre-COVID, right?
Yeah.
And just how there's been some changes in the market. What do you think are I don't know, 2 or 3 key things that you think have helped you be successful over the years? Or maybe there's, maybe 1 or 2 key moments or things like that you did along the way that you're like, you know what, this is important. Do this. As long as I do this, things happen, whatever.
Yep. For me, it's business slips away from you when you get complacent.
Hmm.
So if you're sitting there going, "Woohoo, I have all these closings this month," and you get complacent and you stop marketing and you stop reaching out to your sphere and you stop stopping by clients' houses and saying, "Hey, I saw this really cute yard sign that made me think of you," or touching base with them on Facebook, texting them for no good reason. "Hey, I saw a really great video and it made me think of you because your child too shoved a penny up his nose." When you stop reaching out and touching people and making them feel important and seen and heard, you get forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of my business at this point is return business and referral,
Yeah.
and the rest of it is dog people. But people get lazy. They think, "Woohoo, I'm doing so well now. I
Yeah.
don't have to do all the things." You do have to do the things.
Yep.
So,
Do you have a
that's
system that you kind of go through, or do you have a process for how you are intentional about
um
that, or track it, or
I
how do you do it?
have a list of clients, and everyone gets at least 2 touches a year.
Okay.
One is an invitation to photos with Santa. You can bring your pets, you can bring your kids, you can bring your pets and your kids, you can bring your family. We don't care. My husband starts growing his beard out in mid-July,
Okay.
and by late November, December, put a red suit on him, and he's a ringer.
Hey.
And then the other thing I do is usually around St. Patrick's Day, everybody gets a handwritten St. Patrick's Day card with usually like a dollar scratcher in it,
Okay.
and just something corny. "I'm so lucky to have you as a
Yeah.
friend," or, just something that they go, "Oh, she took enough time to literally handwrite this and
Yeah.
stick a stamp on it and reach out to me."
Yeah.
So, there's a minimum of 2 touches, and then I just keep the list of clients
Yeah.
on my desk, and as I see something that makes me think of somebody, I just tick them off, and I try to touch people at least 2, 3, 4 other times a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's just making them feel remembered.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I love that. It's a simple process, but like
Mhm.
you're also very intentional about it, right? Like it's creating that list, it's having that list, but also creating
Mhm.
it top of mind and just saying, I just want to stay in touch with these people. And like they obviously hired you in the past or feel connected to you for one reason or another. And it's probably fun to reach out to some of those people too. Like, hey, I was just thinking about you because of some dog rescue thing happened or whatever. And it's like, it doesn't even probably feel like you're lead generating and prospecting.
No.
It feels like you're just connecting with your people that you already are connected with anyway. What a great story and what a great message. I mean, I think that's important. That's good. I think the other thing is too, like I do something similar. I mean, I'm very intentional with our database and staying in touch with people as well. But I think, regardless of how you do it, I love the simplicity of it almost, right? Like it's not overly
Mhm.
complicated, right? Because
No.
oftentimes agents will ask, well, what's the best CRM I should use? And you got a list and
Yeah, my CRM is a piece of paper.
it's a piece of paper. It's a list of people, right? You could easily do this in what? You could do just a spreadsheet or a document, and you have 2 checkbox, maybe 4, however many
Yep.
check boxes you want. There you go. There's 2 or 4 or however many you want to do per year, and
Mhm.
keeping it simple. I think, it's easy to get sometimes lost in the complexity of some of the different CRM systems and the follow-up
Mm.
systems that are there, right? It's like, oh my gosh, which follow-up plan should I do? And it's like, man, I just got my checkbox and
Yeah.
have an event to invite people to, and have a reason to reach out. I think that's a great story and it's a great message and doesn't need to be overly complicated. And then business just kind of shows up. Does business show up that way?
Business shows up that way. One of my favorite stories is I, way back in the day, got leads through online lead sources. And one of the young couples that I was working with, and you're not supposed to have favorites. You kind of do. I'm not going to lie. They bought a house together. They were seriously dating, all the things. And I went into my mom thing and I was like, "Okay, you guys need to have in writing what happens, how this breaks out, if something happens that you guys should break up. That's something I push with all my unmarried couples. Make sure you CYA.
Makes sense.
And 3 weeks after they closed, I get a picture of her with an engagement ring, and they're like, "We wanted to tell you first." And I was like, "Wait a minute, first?" And then guess what? We're pregnant. And just today, I was joking with him. He's a very good looking young man. His wife is stunning. Their children are gorgeous. And he's telling me what a nerd he is because he's a tech guy. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, we have very different definitions of what a nerd is. I know what they were when I went to school, and you're not. And just organic joking around contact like that.
Yeah.
I'm closing a deal in 2 weeks that he handed me. Hey, these
Yeah.
are my friends. I told him they have to use you. He's
Yeah.
handed me, I'd say, at least 6 referrals.
Okay. Wow.
You
That's
know?
amazing. Yeah, all because you know what stood out though? All because you said, "Hey, you're buying a house together, you're not married, CYA, make sure you have a plan. Think about what happens if it doesn't work out." Like
Yeah,
it's just protecting both of them, really. It's like just and it's such a simple thing, right? Make sure that you're suggesting those things, right, to people and you're just
yeah,
being that go-to kind of resource in person and then suddenly 6 referrals later
yeah.
is how it can
You know,
happen.
and it's not even that, oh, they're young, I didn't trust them. I have a very good friend who was in her 40s
Yeah.
who met a guy and they were in love, and she had been divorced, a very ugly divorce. And I said the same thing to her. I need you to make sure that you are covered because, she sold her house to buy
Yeah.
the house they bought together. I'm like, I need for you to be covered here. It's the
Yeah.
same conversation I have with everybody.
Sure.
With marriage, you have a document and you have a judge who's going to tell you how this all shakes out. When
Yeah.
you're just dating someone or when you're engaged, you don't.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
No, I think that's great advice, right? It's just
Yeah.
being a good agent, being a good resource, and making good suggestions. And just like that, business can happen and referrals
Yep.
happen. That's how they do happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Well, what about, I mean, I know it's been some challenges over the years too, right? It hasn't always just been 6 referrals and everything's perfect, right? Like I'm sure
Hmm.
you've had a few challenges along the way. Is there anything that comes to mind for something that was a hurdle, either maybe you didn't overcome or that a big learning opportunity during a challenging transaction maybe or challenging part of your business? Anything come to mind?
Couple. One of the big ones was last year.
Yeah.
A friend reached out to me, someone I've known for probably 15, 20 years, and said, I need to buy a house. Family situation's changed. Elderly family needs to move in. And it was at a time when, you could kind of work on a handshake with your friends.
Hmm.
And so I went with this lady and her husband. We went to a couple showings. And then I introduced her to the builder that ended up being her builder, but we spent 2 hours with him.
Yeah.
And at the time, she's like, X, Y, and Z has to fall into place first before we can buy. But, and she's like, this guy's saying he can show us different options. I'm like, well, keep me in the loop. And kept her in the loop. And as we got closer and closer and I was supposed to sell her existing home too, as we got closer and closer to time to sign that contract, all of a sudden she's like, ooh, the family doesn't want to pay 3% because, it showed up in the numbers.
Sure.
And I was like, well, I know you're going through a hard time. I never do this, but I'll cut you a little bit of a break. I'll do 2%. She comes back with, they don't want to pay you at all, but I said we'd at least do 1%. I was
Hmm.
like, ooh. And then we talked a little bit about procuring cause. And I was like, I have in writing all these different things. We're using you. And she got an attorney involved. And it ended up being that for me to fight them on this would have cost me more than, by the time you figure court costs, attorney's fees. And so we ended up settling on a pittance. But it
Yeah.
just reminded me that in business, you really just can't say that's my friend.
Sure. Yeah.
So that was a big learning experience for me, because I've always treated people the way I want to be treated.
Sure.
And it's very hard for me to say to somebody, hey, friend, how are you? Sign this contract right here, right now.
Right.
It was uncomfortable. And I didn't do well with uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then, that's one good thing that came out of the big NAR settlement
That's what
was
I was gonna say. Yeah.
now we have to. Now
Yeah.
it has to be spelled out. It was a lesson I learned, not at a good time, but
Yeah.
yeah, so that's been interesting. And then the other big hurdle is I started a second company,
Oh,
commercial real estate, and boy, is that a different animal.
I bet it
So
is.
you don't know what you don't know, and commercial just has so few rules. You kind of do what you want to do, and
Yeah.
if you try to do things quote unquote by the book, everyone's like, "What are you doing? Why are you making this so hard?" And I'm like, "Asking for a loan commitment's hard? What?" So very different.
Yeah. Very
So
different world.
everything's a learning curve.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. No,
Mhm.
I think that is one thing that's good, I think, about the NAR settlement, right? It has brought that conversation about contracts and payment compensation, right? It always
Yep.
happened at some point. It just now it's happening on the first showing or before, right?
Yeah.
It has to. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so hard though. Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Sign a contract with me. Wait a
Yeah.
minute. We don't even know if we're going to get along. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm going to like you either, but
Yeah.
now we're married for a number of months, you know.
Yeah. No, I think it could be. I mean, I think, I've gotten, I think since the NAR settlement, almost less attached to the time frame. We typically would do a several month long contract also, and
Mhm.
like, look, if they're not comfortable, great, let's do it. Try it out for a couple weeks and see how we work.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
let's try it out on both sides. Right? Like maybe I'm not a good agent, good fit for you potentially. Right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't always have to be a super long contract where they feel like locked in or something like that, like letting
Yeah.
people just having that permission to kind of move forward. But yeah, it's bringing up those conversations sooner. So that makes sense.
Sure
Yeah.
is.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. No, we're all having to navigate that as well. I mean, but it's something, yeah, it's something I do think that's good. So does that happen? I guess I don't even know the answer. So on the commercial side,
Mhm.
like, do those rules still apply, or is it, no?
I still get agency
Yeah.
because with my luck,
Yeah.
somebody would come sneaking in and go, "Oh, well, you didn't have agency."
Yeah.
I don't know that everybody gets agency.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? I am of a school where the National Association said this is what you have to do.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah.
That's what I'm
So
gonna do. Yep.
if you're an agent and you pay your dues, right? Like
Yeah.
even if it's residential or commercial, like you still need to follow through on that, I would think.
Well,
Yeah.
I happen to know that a transaction I was involved in recently, the agents on the other side had actually shown the property to who ended up being my client without an agency agreement. Sure, we'll open the door. You can come on in.
Oh.
Uh-huh. So very different.
Yeah.
And when I said something about it, they're like, "Oh, well, we don't really have to do that." And I'm like, "You don't?"
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if commercial realtors are necessarily a part of the National Association
Yeah.
or not.
Right. Some are, some aren't. That's for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
And like I said, it's kind of the wild, wild west out there
Yeah.
in commercial land. Yeah, asked the lender, I'm like, I need this letter stating that, the loan's ready to go. We've got loan commitment, we're good to go. And they're like, for what? And I was like, what do you mean for what? Literally in the offer. Oh, well, we don't get asked for those. What? What do you mean you don't get asked for those? So yeah, a little crazy.
Yeah. Uh-huh. A little bit different. That's
So
for sure.
a lot of bit different. I'm unlearning a lot.
Yeah. Are you still enjoying that part of the business though, and still glad
I
you're headed
am.
down that path a little bit?
I am. I like having the ability to do both things.
Sure.
Yeah. So I still love my residential compliance. It's definitely my bread and butter, but I'm really loving commercial as well
Yeah.
because you learn something new every day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I love about this business really is like there's always something new every day.
Mhm.
Every property's different, every client's different, every transaction in some ways is, certainly there's some similarities, but there's always nuance. There's always something to learn, and that's always a little
There's
bit.
always something to learn.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. Absolutely. Well, cool. Well, Anne, I know we've been chatting quite a while here, and I've loved our conversation so far. Anything else on your mind that you think our listeners might enjoy hearing about or us talking more about?
Not unless they want to foster senior and special needs dogs for me.
Yeah.
So that's my big push right now. I'm with Albert's Dog Lounge, and we could take dog after dog after dog, but we need more fosters at this point. So,
Sure.
yep.
Got it.
So
All right.
not really real estate related, except maybe for me, but there you have it.
Well, there you go. If you're looking to foster some dogs, reach out to Anne, and you can definitely help
I'll
her
hook you
out
up.
with that. Well, cool. So I love our topics. Kind of a quick recap. Yeah. So we touched on a lot of stuff, right? Lean into who you are, be authentic, tap into your niche, whatever that might be, whether that's dogs or hiking, climbing, investment, whatever niche you choose in your real estate business, it can absolutely be a catalyst for growth and success and tons of referrals, right? 95% of Anne's business is referral-based business with her past clients and sphere of influence. You can have a fancy CRM and be crazy analytical about all the stuff, but you don't need one. You can keep it simple in your follow-up and just have 2 touches or 4 touches a year and just stay in touch with those people, and you will absolutely do business and get referrals and grow your business. 100%. I totally agree with that. So I love this conversation, Anne, and I really appreciate you coming on our show and dropping some wisdom and nuggets with our listeners today.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. All right. Well, that's our episode for today. If you're interested in hearing more about growth in your real estate business, tune in next time as we continue the dialogue and continue the conversation with our other future guests. So that's our show for today, the Better Agent Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Josh Lavik, and I'm talking to Anne Baranski. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in to the Better Agent Podcast. I hope you found today's insights valuable. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for more tips, Q&A sessions, and sneak peeks into our 21-day challenge. To get full access of our show notes and more details on the 21-day challenge, go to abetterrealestateexperience.com. Keep striving for greatness, and I'll see you on the next episode.